Hello viewer, my name is Hadel, and this is a sort of introduction to the channel. I'm posting this at the time of the Disc Creatures review, so at the very least, there is content to watch other than this video. If by rare chance you are watching this introduction first before any of my other videos, then allow me to explain this channel and what to expect. Long-form analysis on games and film has been a favorite taste of mine here on YouTube, and with this channel, I would like to contribute to this subgenre of a YouTube subgenre. I'd like to offer my perspective and analytical skills and aim them towards a particular video game subgenre that I've been very fond of for my whole life. That genre is, of course, the monster tamer or monster collector genre. There isn't one particular name for these games, even Steam lists them under the term creature collector, so for ease of explaining, I'll have to stick with a singular defining term. I'm fond of the term monster tamer because it implies several things. To be tame is to be, quote, not wild or dangerous, either naturally or because of training or long involvement with humans, unquote. Therefore, a tamer is, quote, someone who tames something that is wild, especially an animal. Unquote. It implies a connection or interaction between the tamer and the wild creature. Monster collector, on the other hand, implies a sort of mechanical coldness, where the creature is merely something to be obtained and categorized, which I think is not very accurate for most games of the genre. Monster raising sim is another term I've heard around the internet, but a majority of the games in this genre would not accurately be described as a sim. Many games like Pokemon, some Digimon ones, Yokai Watch, Nexomon, and others are most similar to JRPGs. Many of their mechanics are outright descendants or siblings of the mechanics in JRPGs. Many people already compare or describe them as JRPGs, even if they aren't familiar with the differences between monster tamers and JRPGs as a whole. It would be more accurate to say that monster tamers are a subgenre within JRPGs, since many of them share similar RPG stat systems, elements, dungeon crawling gameplay in certain cases, and the fact that the subgenre very much has its roots in Japan. So yeah, if you'll forgive my tangent, as there will be many of them on this channel, I would like to offer a singular defining term for this subgenre of game. This is mostly just to make it easier to explain things on this channel. I define Monster Tamer as, quote, a game where the player character domesticates, captures, or obtains multiple fantastical creatures or pets, and uses them or their abilities to accomplish objectives within the game, unquote. I think that accurately covers most, if not all, of the games within this subgenre. Of course, again, this is just my definition, and if you want to offer a stronger definition, by all means, let me know in the comments. So yes, in this channel, I want to focus on reviewing, analyzing, critiquing, and generally diving as deep as I can into many of the monster taming games out there. It's a type of game I've grown up with since early childhood, and have been playing well into adulthood. I really love this type of game. I think a lot of exposure to discussion, my introspection, and the games themselves have given me a fairly deep understanding of their appeal. Each review or analysis will differ, but generally I will speak of their mechanics, creative direction, sound design, world design, and other topics. Unless many videos have come out already, to you as a viewer, I am but a disembodied voice, and you probably don't have an understanding of my taste in games, or my history with monster tamers. So I'd like to take a moment and give you some Hadel backstory, so you'll know a little bit about me, just to add a little humanity to the voice coming through your screen. I've noticed a lot of YouTube reviewers will criticize a piece of media, but as a viewer, we never get a sense of what they think is good or bad anyway. If I'm going to praise or criticize a game, I think it's important for the sake of transparency and trust that I explain my tastes and history with this subgenre. Hell, you and I might have more in common than you think. I was born in the mid-90s, becoming aware of games and media in general in the late 90s and early 2000s. I think the first video game I ever played was Jurassic Park on the Sega Genesis, a game I was very terrible at, but it was still very fun. My father owned a PlayStation 1 and 2 as soon as they came out, which exposed me to a myriad of games such as Oddworld, Nightmare Creatures, Resident Evil, Parasite Eve, and also Monster Rancher. I have very vivid memories of playing Monster Rancher and running upstairs to my parents, weeping, sobbing, and barely being able to articulate that my monster had died. Hell, even watching my father's tiger get killed in battle by a dragon had me in tears. I was also very much a big fan of the Pokemon anime, despite not owning any of the games until Sapphire came out on the Game Boy Advance. If it's not clear at this point, at an early age, I was already getting attached to virtual creatures. From then on through life, I played every mainline Pokemon game, including special versions or sequels. Pokemon Emerald is still my favorite game in the series. I played several of the spin-offs, including Snap, Coliseum, PBR, Pokemon Ranger, Mystery Dungeons, Explorers of Sky, and I was briefly into the competitive scene around the Gen 5 time. Even as an adult, I still play the series. I own a Switch and Pokemon Shield. At the time of writing, the new Pokemon Snap is about to be released in about 3 hours. Pokemon dominates the market on monster tamers, but in the wake of the Sword and Shield era these past couple of years, I've tried to really branch into other franchises as well. Digimon was a series I grew up with as well, mostly in the anime, but I had touched upon a couple of games, like Digimon World 3, as well as Digimon Rumble Arena 2. Recently I've played Digimon World 1, got filtered by it admittedly, and then finished Digimon Story Cyber Sleuths. I've been playing through all the mainline Monster Rancher series as well, finishing 1, 2, 3, 4, and the DS title. Evo will be my next new playthrough in that series. And just to name off a few other titles I've tried, Fossil Fighters Champions and Frontier, both DS Spectrobes games, Nexomon Extinction, Shin Megami Tensei, and Disc Creatures, whose review is already out for you to watch. In the past, I've also owned several virtual pets, including every Tamagotchi generation from 1 to 5, played a ton of Neopets, and also kept many of those old virtual forum signature pets you could grow by getting people to click on them. Also, these aren't monster tamers, but just to further show you my taste, some of my favorite all-time games include Team Fortress 2, Final Fantasy XIV, Underrail, The Legend of Dragoon, Dark Souls, Silent Hill 2, Planescape Torment, Soma, and the Smash Bros. Series, particularly Melee and Project M, otherwise known as P+ nowadays. So yes, this is a big taste of the kind of things I'm into. It should be fairly obvious, but RPGs are probably the most dominant genre in my life. All of the titles will likely be brought up again in other videos, but I thought it would be good just to list them out all here. In art or other creative pursuits, it should be said that very few things are truly original, and I'm no exception. My inspirations for starting this channel with this style of video began with YouTube game and film critics such as YMS, Zero Punctuation, CinemaSins, but as I branched out over the years, developed a taste, I found people like Matthew Matosis, Joseph Anderson, Mandalore Gaming, Max Durrott, Never Knows Best, Seth, and most importantly, Moeller. Some of these are considerably shorter or more comedy-focused, or a quicker review in the context of a product. However, what really scratched an itch for me was the long format videos, the ones spanning several hours. After the first viewing, as a creative guy myself, I would often have their videos on my second monitor as background noise, or entertainment while doing a tedious task. This is fairly common, but I've also been falling asleep to them almost every night for a couple of years now. Moeller and Never Knows Best in particular are individuals I've been a particularly big fan of in the last year. Moeller's hard stance of objective critique, as well as his standards for himself and others, I found very refreshing and enlightening. Never Knows Best was a smaller reviewer when I found him, but no lie, he has a very nice voice. And his videos are informative, his perspective is interesting, and we share a similar taste in RPGs. Essentially, yes, after watching these reviewers for many years, and after thinking about it for a long time, I've decided to start a channel of my own. So again, the kind of videos that this channel will be for are those long format, in-depth game analyses, and I want to focus on a type of game I feel a lot of passion for, the monster tamers subgenre. I understand a lot of people out there aren't fans of long videos like these. There's a demand for shorter, digestible reviews like many major gaming news outlets give, but it's also obvious to me that there are a ton of people, including myself, that enjoy the longer, more introspective, and admittedly drier style of analysis. These will be long videos, yes, but that's because I want to be able to make them well-researched and detailed. Plus, if I need to go off on a tangent, I can do just that. That does mean, however, that it will take a long time to make videos. Production, writing, editing, playing the game to a significant degree that I can understand it thoroughly, these are all tasks that I will be handling myself. For every review or analysis, I will always play a game at least once, and I will always be honest about how many times I played through it. There's a practice that Moeller does for his game dissections where he would play a game sometimes 8 or 9 times, particularly for shorter horror games like Outlast or Soma. I respect the hell out of that, and I agree with him that you can't usually know a game fully on a first playthrough. As much as I would like to hold myself to a similar standard, that just isn't feasible for the type of game I want to review. For example, my first playthrough of Disc Creatures, not counting the post-game, took me around 21 hours. In the RPG world, 20 hours is often considered somewhat short. Monster tamers in general are often very slow and long in how they are completed, which isn't a bad thing, mind you, but it's not conducive to the kind of standard I can reasonably hold for myself. Many Pokemon games can take well over 30 hours to complete. My first playthrough of Digimon Cyber Sleuths took about 50 hours, and I was rushing toward the end. Aside from Monster Rancher 3, all of those titles I've played have probably taken even longer. Compared to an 8 or 9 hour game, with my current living situation, interests, and sanity, I probably can't spare a long RPG more than 2 or 3 playthroughs. Therefore, it will always be likely I will make mistakes, but fortunately there's you in the comment section and we can always discuss any mistakes I've made. Ultimately, I want these videos to be something that sticks around for years and still generates thought and discussion. So yeah, I hope you can understand what kind of channel this will be. So if you'll allow just another tangent, I'd like to give you some explanation on what this channel won't be. This is just to clear up any misunderstandings about my intentions for this channel. Mostly, I do intend to review Pokemon games eventually, but this is not a purely Pokemon channel, nor am I a PokeTuber. For those unaware, a PokeTuber is a type of YouTube content creator that focuses primarily on Pokemon content, obvious enough. Many times they'll have a shiny hunting, gimmick challenge runs, or discussion on news. They're based around and dedicated to a singular franchise, and that is just not what I'm aiming for. Honestly, I have some grievances with that type of YouTube creator community. Oftentimes, they rely heavily on clickbait titles or on unprovable leaks, anonymous sources, speculation, and rumor for their Pokemon news. I understand that Pokemon news is slow, but the level of milking and the attempts at building hype are downright shameful. Not all PokeTubers are guilty of this, but the ones that are can be so completely wrong about something and no one calls them out on it. Those videos or streams just end up falling down the memory hole anyway and becoming forgotten. Though it's not my job or goal here to muckrake YouTubers, I do just wish that PokeTubers wouldn't inflate hype or rely on clickbait over fake leaks, rumors, and speculation. Also, this channel is not IGN, GameSpot, or any other game journo channel. If you couldn't already tell, these videos will be long. This channel is not meant for small, digestible bits of review lasting 15 minutes at most. I will not be using number grading systems like X out of 5 or Y out of 10. During most videos, I will probably give my personal opinion on a game's value as a product though. I can give a recommendation, but whether you decide to purchase it or not is completely up to you. I will try my best to be impartial, but I know, as a human being, it's damn near impossible to be 100% unbiased. Also, this channel is not an angry, negative channel. While I do enjoy the stereotypical, jaded, hard-to-please reviewers like Yahtzee, Shammy, and others, I found I much more enjoy reviewers that like to talk about games they find good. Reviewers who often bring the spotlight onto games they liked have often helped me discover them as well. Games like Underrail, Total Warhammer 2, Lords of Magic, and Sunless Sea would probably have remained unknown to me otherwise. Since these videos will take a long time to make, I would rather spend that passion, energy, and hopefully exposure on games I feel deserve it. Granted, I will try my best to judge the game fairly and not give the old IGN 10 out of 10 because I liked it. So now that that's out of the way, I want to give you guys a very, very rough idea of what to expect next. I'm writing this before the Disc Creatures review, but again, this video will release alongside it. Any number of life things can get in the way, so I just want you guys to know that time between videos may be shorter, longer, or even unfeasible to continue if life stuff creates too many complications. This channel is intended to be a passion project alongside others I do, and it's something I've wanted to try for a long time. If that passion is spent or extinguished, of course, I probably won't continue. Considering that out of a drive to write this script, I have traded a night's sleep, I'm confident that I'll have the drive to continue this channel for the near future. I don't expect this channel to grow huge or anything, as monster tamers outside of Pokemon are very niche. If it grows enough to have some monetary value, in all honesty, I will jump on that as soon as I can. Being self-sufficient and self-employed, working on what I want to do, is one of my biggest dreams in life. So if this channel ends up being a step there, I will take it. I will sell out like toilet paper during quarantine. I'll mention this topic again in the actual Disc Creatures review, but I'm not quite sure what to review next after it. As a newborn channel, I figured it would be best to review something I've played before, as I would be comfortable with it, and it would be easier to create an entire video. I'm thinking maybe Monster Rancher 1. I can't fathom how long videos will take to make until I try, so I cannot yet give an honest estimate. I'll have a Twitter link in the description where I will have more frequent updates and communication on project timelines. But yeah, I'll post when I can. One more thing. In the future, I may run out of games in the Monster Tamer genre. Hell, it's also possible I might just get burnt out in the future of this type of game. I really don't see this as likely, but it's possible. In that case, I just want to be clear that I have no qualms with branching out into other genres. As I mentioned before, there are quite a few games that I love that aren't monster tamers. I could talk endlessly about them, so I'll keep them deep in my back pocket, just in case. Obviously, of course, this channel is meant for monster tamers, so for now we'll stick with that theme. Since this is a baby newborn channel, it's likely going to take time to build any sort of following, and I would be a liar if I said I didn't hope to generate one. I think everyone who makes a channel has dreams of being a big name YouTuber bringing in all the bucks, and while this is a passion project, that pipe dream is still in the back of my brain. Hell, if it even gets to 100 or 1,000 subs, I will be quite pleased with the channel. Mostly, I just want these videos to stay. It's entirely possible that YouTube will exist onward past my own lifetime. My thoughts, my voice, these things will stick around and might be the only tangible proof of my existence aside from my own bones. But hey, not gonna sweat it. If you made it this far in this admittedly personal introductory video, I thank you for letting me give my perspective and my words to you. If you're interested, do check out my channel and feel free to interact via comments or social media. Liking videos and spreading the channel around via word of mouth is also incredibly helpful for getting this thing out there. Considering the niche subjects of this channel, it'll be very helpful and I appreciate it deeply. In any case, I have to go get ready to get the new Pokemon Snap. Coincidentally, I finished this first draft just in time. I like to get there early, just in case there's high demand. So, thank you for listening. Good night, good morning, wherever you are.